Okay, I'm excited. Today we're back with another artist series interview. And today we are here with a licensed financial and insurance professional, an author, a real estate investor, and host of the More Than Money podcast. Please help me welcome Breonna Moore. Hey, Bree.
Woo! Pat myself on the back.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing. I'm like I was saying before. I'm so proud of you and all of the things that you've accomplished. You have been a guest on my podcast, so I definitely appreciate you for doing that. So it's both an honor and a blessing to be sitting here with you on the other side of your journey that we spoke about. And to see you doing so well. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. And I appreciate you having me on your podcast and being an inspiration with everything that you're doing in this space. So the feeling is mutual.
Ah man,
Okay,
beautiful.
so I know you are also a registered nurse who
Mhm.
really took hold of your financial story during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, what shifted for you in that moment?
Okay, so I've been speaking about this so much lately, and it feels like everything happened for a reason. Because at that time, when I became an ICU nurse, an intensive care unit nurse, I was stressed out every single day of my life, and I kept asking God, "Why did you put me here, in this position to have to take care of people who literally can't get out of bed by themselves? They can't wash their face. These basic human things that we take for granted, these people couldn't do by themselves. And of course, they were battling a disease that they couldn't conquer by themselves. So a lot of times, I already knew what the outcome of the situation was going to be. So it felt like I was preventing the inevitable every single day of my life. And when you are in a position to where you feel like somebody's going to pass away regardless of all of your teaching, just because that's the way that this disease process works, is literally not much you can do. Some miracles happen, but not all of the time. You start to get rid of any ounce of fear that you have in your heart about doing anything, because you start to realize that every day could be your last. So when I got that realization, I started to realize that, like, if I really want to get into a space to where I don't have to do this career, which nursing is an amazing career that afforded me a really amazing lifestyle. It bought my house, it bought my car. It's created a source of wealth for me that I wouldn't have gotten with any other career. I feel like, as fast as I did and as young as I did. So kudos to the nurses. But I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to be a nurse. I didn't want to go back to school, and I definitely didn't want to get a second job. So in the midst of that, I had to figure out how to build a stream of income myself, not dependent on the government, not dependent on my mama, not dependent on my family, but I wanted to really explore how to do that myself. In the famous words of a very, very, very powerful man, Jay-Z, he says, sometimes you can't ride the wave, you got to create the wave. So while everybody was going left and trying to figure out how to create sources of income by going back to school or getting another job or working harder, I said, let me figure out how to work smarter. And so in the midst of all of that, I started to monetize what I already had. I said, okay, cool. Maybe instead of working, because I was working a lot, I'm like, maybe instead of working 40 hours, 36 hours a week in a hospital or a place that I'm not really comfortable at, how about I go somewhere else, make more money, work less hours, and try to figure out how to quadruple that mentality by doing less work but making more money. I'm like, how do I do that? Travel nursing. It was COVID, so like contracts were out there paying $3,000, $6,000 per week, and I was making 60 to 70K per year. So it's like it made sense in that moment to make the jump. So I think that's where it started. I had to really be uncomfortable. They say God doesn't call to qualify; He qualifies the call. So I was in a
Mhm.
position to, unfortunately, turn my pain into passion, turn my trial into triumph in that way. Praying that, and a lot of times we feel like it's the devil that's putting these things in our life. Oh Lord, the devil did it. No, sometimes it's God repositioning and pivoting you into where you need to be. Because I wouldn't be here talking to you right now if it wasn't for that. So, anyways, that's it. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna stop talking.
Wow, what an amazing journey, because sometimes in life there's things that we know we should be doing, it's on our heart to do it, but we kind of need that push from God to go after those things and really make the difference that we
Exactly.
want to see. So, what advice would you have for someone who's in a similar situation? They're not really liking what they're doing at the moment. They really want to take hold of their financial journey.
I mean, the first thing, so when I started my financial journey, the first thing that I had to do was be aware that I was in a situation that I didn't want to be in. And when you look around at other people, you start to see that anxiety around going to work and being upset at your boss or being in a position to do a job that you don't want to do is normal. They're like, oh, that's what I do from 9 to 5 and the weekends are mine. I wasn't cool with that. Like, because I was still thinking about work on the weekends and getting depressed and frustrated when I realized that I had to go back. So the first thing you have to do is be aware. And the other four things that you have to do is one, educate, two, execute, three, elevate, four, expand. Those are all of the things that God literally put those words in my head in 2020 when I started to understand how to understand my journey and where it was going, or where, at least where I wanted it to go. Because they say too, like, sometimes you have to create yourself. Like, a lot of people feel like we're coming into ourselves, but sometimes you have to build that from the ground up. So that's what I would say. Educate, execute, which is the number one thing. Because of course, like, we all know how to lose weight. Go to the gym, eat a better diet. How many of us actually do it? Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So, and also after you execute, you're going to naturally expand. So, like, if you build a business in that period, it's going to naturally grow. And then you're going to evolve into something else other than what you thought of. Like, I'm a nurse. What I didn't even think I would be doing public speaking or being asked to host events or being asked to, like, be in collaboration with other people who are doing with people who I really admire. For one, like, people have reached out to me who I admire and have asked to collab on different things. So it's like, that's my advice. Just do it. And of course, like, if people don't take anything else, of course I'm gonna bring a little bit of the finances into it. The first thing that you have to do in order to become financially free is one, if you can, increase your income. Two, decrease your expenses. Three, invest the rest. And as a bonus, I'm gonna just say avoid debt.
Wow, you helping me today. Let me gotta get myself together.
No, you good.
Yeah, but it's just so important because we kind of live in a society, especially on social media, the Sunday scaries, when that's really what you're talking about when you get that overwhelming feeling when it's time to go back to work on Monday. And all these feelings that we have, we kind of just normalized. I'm thinking, oh, this is what my life is, working, when it doesn't have to be that way. So that's amazing advice. So, you got this wonderful book out about financial literacy, More Than Money. So, there's so many financial literacy books out on the market. So, what makes this one different?
So the book actually came as a byproduct of me being financially secure and independent enough to leave my job. So a lot of times, as working individuals in the United States of America, a lot of times we're so busy in the midst of building, we're so busy in the midst of deadlines and like having to work on things to please other people or to meet schedules or things like that. We don't get a chance to sit and actually understand what our purpose is. So this book literally came from me, excuse me, having the privilege to rest, like, and say, what is my purpose? Why am I on this earth? Who am I supposed to impact? And so the book is extremely vulnerable. It's called Investing While Black: From No Knowledge to No Limits. And the reason why I named it Investing While Black is because, well, for one, God literally put that name in my head. And a lot of times investing as a Black person, for me, who did not grow up around people who understood investing, the things that people don't talk about are the losses. Okay. If anything, the book is going to tell you what not to do. Okay. It's going to tell you where, like, what things I did wrong, down to when I bought a business. And I don't want to say the word scammed because I'm in the process of getting my money back now from those individuals who I invested with. But understanding that even though if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. It talks about why I had to flip my house. That was a house that I wanted to keep forever. However, the cost of renovating and things like that, the general contractor coming back to me saying he needed more of this and more of that. Nine times out of 10, he was getting it from a place that was cheaper than what I was paying. So it got to a point where I had put $30,000 into a house that was supposed to be a $16,000 renovation. I ain't had no more money. I had to flip it. So down to things like that, and also how I grew up. There is a bit of a trigger warning in the beginning of the book that I won't talk too much about, and I want to make sure that I say that because it shows um uh, uh, uh the trauma of how I grew up the way that I did and why my mom functioned in the way that she did. My I do have a history of mental health, and I do have a history of my family has a history of mental health, and my family has a history of suicide. So that it's detailed in the book. So I would say if you're a person who's just looking to see someone like you, someone who doesn't understand investing, someone who didn't grow up around it, but now 5 years later, because investors think in time lapses, if I started investing in 2020, I knew I wouldn't be financially independent until 2025. You start to see that you can do it too. Yeah, it's hard, but just like we talked about when you said what advice would I give to people, just start. Your first time doing something is going to look a lot different than your 100th time doing something. So if you invest in a stock the first time, you might not know what you're doing. The second time, you might feel a little more confident. The third time, when you see that you make money, because the market returns about 11.9% per year, you gonna be like, oh shoot, I done made some money. Let me try to keep on. Matter of fact, and then you get to a point. Let me automate it. Okay, cool. Let me invest more. Let me open this. So it starts to snowball. So yeah, I would say if anybody's interested in maybe holding a mirror up to themselves, and this is not just for Black people, it's for anybody. I speak to Asians, white people, Hispanic, Latinos, and I'm not the only person, or we're not the only race that struggle with these things. I believe 1 out of 7 Americans have $1,000 in their bank account to fund for an emergency. That means that most of us in the world don't have $1,000 to put to an emergency, which means that you have to grab some type of debt in order to do it, which also decreases your chance of building wealth. Debt is like one of the main things that distracts you from building wealth. So this is not like I didn't say 1 out of 7 of Black people, 1 out of 7 of white people, 1 out of 7 of Asian people, 1 out of 7 of Americans. So this is not just a one-sided issue. Yeah, we can get into the intricacies of generational wealth and how tobacco, cotton, and rice built this country, which is what Black people understood how to farm, and other people didn't. That's a whole different topic that kind of feeds into this. But as far as right now, I'm saying a lot of us don't have this knowledge. So that's why you should read the book. Buy the book.
Everybody go out there and buy the book Investing While
A
Black. And
book.
it's just the book's for everybody, but it is so important when you think about investing, who you generally think about investing are, these older white men that you see. So when you see someone that looks like you know for sure, okay, I can do this too because she's doing it. So that is
Exactly.
amazing. You've built this wonderful podcast platform and you're doing it out of Richmond, not always seen as necessarily a podcast city. So what gave you this confidence to go for it anyway?
Girl, the bad business deal that I told you about.
Mhm.
Okay. First of all, I love the business model when I started it, and it was my pathway to entrepreneurship. This was going to make me rich. And it really could have if I would have done it with the right people. So I'm going to say that sometimes it's not necessarily the business that's not making money. It's because you are not navigating that specific niche correctly. You can't apply every single principle that you see on social media to every single thing. This was a retail storefront, brick and mortar. So we needed to market differently. I was the CFO of this business. And when you're the CFO, chief financial officer, you're basically the chief marketing officer. Like, you're doing acquisitions, like you're doing P&Ls, you're doing the accountant work. Sometimes I had to get in it and get on the register and ring people up. Like, we were a small business. I did a bit of everything. So I said, you know what? Oh, and we were going to use 106.5 The Beat for marketing. But hope I ain't giving away nobody business. But they're marketing at 106.5 The Beat is like, shoot, maybe 3,000 at the time. And we just didn't have it in the budget. So I said, well, how about I just start my own podcast? Shoot, I learned how to invest in real estate from my podcast. I learned how to get rid of my 9 to 5, become financially free. I learned how to do all of this stuff from a podcast. Not necessarily understanding that unlike these amazing radio stations that we have here in Richmond, they already have an audience. Okay, they already have sponsors. They've built this conglomerate of an industry up over years, like 20, 30, 40, shoot, more than that, hundreds of years. They've built it up. And I'm starting, nobody know me. But what I did get from putting episodes out, even though I may have 1 or 2 listeners at the time, the person who I interviewed, it was really hard for us not to stay connected after the interview. And so when they would have things coming up, they would give me, sometimes I would get free tickets to things. They would enjoy the conversation so much that I would get perks just based off of a simple conversation. And I would get access to their network because they would want to introduce me to people, or they would recommend their friends to come and see me. And it would be like very powerful people who sometimes I didn't know, but had a lot of motion, would come on, and now I'm in their network and they're kind of like, taking me under their wing and showing me things that I would never even know. And I started to realize that your network is your network. Just like, I hate to bring up Kanye West, but when he burnt down his house, he said, "What do I need a house for? I know the dude that owned Perry's Steakhouse. If I want a steak, I can go over there. And I know Calvin Klein. If I need some underwear, I can go over there." So it's like building these relationships. It really wasn't, the podcast didn't start to be like this international global sensation. It was created so that I could market my business. But it turned into something. That's why he said, you never know. You tell God your plans, he will laugh. Like, I never understand. And I don't even have that business anymore. But the podcast is making money. So it's like, anyways, that's why I started it, because there's a lot of people in Richmond behind the scenes that are doing things. They're creating the scaffolding of the city. But back in the day, they were told to be kept quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, you're behind the scenes. And I think the difference between me and other people who do media is that it's a difference between somebody who markets and somebody who produces and somebody who is the talent. Usually those are 3 different people. Mm-hmm. I'm doing everything. Okay, I'm in front of the camera, I'm behind the camera, and I'm interviewing. So I started to realize that I was a bit multifaceted in that way. So I'm like, okay, let me just expand on this. And now, fast forward, breaking news alert, I am building a podcast studio in Richmond, Virginia, because of somebody who I interviewed on my podcast, who literally, I mean, I don't know if I text her or she texts me, but I text her and I was like, yo, how about I open up a podcast studio in this space you just acquired? And she was like, all right, cool. That's not a position that you can find on Indeed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a relationship that you can cultivate just based off of a regular job. Like, this is the world of networking and entrepreneurship is very much so God and faith led. So whatever he doing back there, that's what. So, in Richmond is a perfect place to build it. Richmond is a city of builders. So we're all building. So it's like, unfortunately, a lot of times when you're in a city of builders, the things that you can negotiate are usually not monetary in my experience. So it might be somebody, like I was talking to somebody the other day, he's an amazing videographer and photographer. He wants to come. He said, listen, I love what you're doing and I would love to invest in you, but I want to invest with my services. Anytime you need a videographer to record, I'm up there. Do you know how much that's worth though? Like, a lot of times people say, I used to get upset at my people, at Black people sometimes. I'm like, bro, we're not investing in each other. But honestly, Black people create cool. Like, I was just looking at the Big Dipper Summit, and I heard Wallow say this, like, Black people create cool. Like, we are the blueprint when it comes to that. So when it comes time for a big conglomerate of a company to see you, you've been amplified by your people. Sometimes that's not always monetary. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a like, it's a share, it's a repost. It's just you going viral and people commenting under your post. So, yeah, that's why I would say I think Richmond was the perfect place to start it, for sure.
You're giving me a lot of different ways to just think about this, because I think being in this space, sometimes it can just be so discouraging, right? When you're not getting the likes, when you're not getting the views, but you're telling me, it's about the people you're meeting, the connections that you're making, that are ultimately going to lead to the success of what you're doing. So, okay.
And when you're not getting the likes and the views, you just post anyway. The people that's not liking your stuff won't go buy nothing from you anyway. So I think the thing that really elevated me and got the attention of, even though I may have two or three likes on a post, I still got nominated for an Icon Award for Chamber RVA, a Trendsetter Award. Even though I had maybe 4 or 5 likes on a post, I still was one of the 100 women of color last year because of the podcast. So you never really know who's watching. Your people will find you. Now it is nice to go viral sometimes because I don't know if you saw that, but we go viral sometimes too. We do. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not what it's about. It's about if I can literally sit and impact one person or change the way one person it perceives something, then I've done my job. Like if your journey is God led, then these little obstacles are baked into your journey. So you just got to learn how to navigate them and keep going. I posted every single day, twice a day for 6 months, and now I'm here talking to Carlia Swanson on the radio.
Stop. Just keep going. Creatives out there, you can't let the likes, the things of social media discourage you, because you'll never reach your blessing if you let people, hinder you. So you've talked to so many people, um, elected officials, Miss Virginia 2024. I mean, so many different kinds of people. What's something a guest has said that has really shifted how you think?
Oh my gosh. That's so hard because every time somebody asks me what my favorite interview was, whatever one I'm doing next, because I get so much. Um, I would say when I interviewed Mike Jones, who a was he a delegate at the time? I think he was a delegate at the time. Now he's a senator. I think, and I'm real like analytical, so this may not even be in the direction that you want to go. But I was interested in the topic of church versus state. And he literally just broke down and said he broke it down and he was like, listen, the reason why church and state are, said to be divided or should be divided is not necessarily because God and politics don't go together. It basically is because it's so that another country can't come in and say and create a church and say this is the Church of England, or this is the Church of whatever, New Zealand, or this is the Church of Spain. It separates the country away from, I guess, that type of municipality so that it doesn't lead to, kind of like a takeover in that way. So that was interesting to me because I always wondered, like, when, people go into church and they're like, oh, we don't talk about politics in church because or go into politics. So we don't talk about God and politics. And it's like, that's not even why we don't put them together. It's very, it's a political reason. And then I interviewed Ashley Williams, who was one of my favorite people. And she was basically saying like, one thing that she said was profound was that you should learn how to pretty much make money work for you. Like if you're doing something, money should be a byproduct of what you're doing, not the reason why you're doing it. And I think that was so profound to me because I say stuff like that all the time. But to hear her say that and then to see her become kind of a tycoon in her industry now, understanding that money is not the reason why she's doing it, it's a byproduct. I think that that was a really profound thing for me to see because she left the blueprint. You know what I mean? Like anybody can follow the blueprint if you're doing what you love. And like I say all the time, your purpose is not for you. Like the things that come with it are, they're really cool. And, God put you on this earth so that you were able to fulfill this destiny. But God give a lot of us the same exact plan and the same exact ideas. It's up to the people who are actually going to go through with it that's going to get that blessing. So to see her actually live that out and then have God so deep in her, like I think that was profound. So that was something that she said, but also she's doing the work as well. So those two people I would say for sure.
Those are two great ones, and you're right. You watched the Michael Jackson movie. He said he had to get to it before Prince got the ideas.
Exactly. Yeah. And also too, like he's been working since he was a baby. Like I feel like consistency is going to be education every single time. Like if I outwork you, it's no way that you're going to win against me. You know what I mean? Like it's no way. Outworking and consistency. Those are the two things. I don't know nothing. I didn't know anything about starting a podcast. Like what? But now it's built out into a whole media company that has two podcasts up under it that has branched off into financial literacy sessions. The last one I collaborated with on the Culture Connect with one of my really good friends, Micah, and Virginia Credit Union sponsored it. And it's like, how in the heck did I? All I did was just outwork everybody else. That's it.
That's amazing. The Lord is blessing you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, speaking of those events, you're curating live events, live podcasts, you have these speaking engagements, all of these spaces where people can gather and listen to you. So, what do you hope people walk away with when they leave these rooms?
That's such a good question because so there was a study done, and it basically said that, and I'm gonna talk to my people because I have a platform. I'm gonna talk to my people. If we keep going on the same trajectory that we're going, not investing, not worrying about our money, not becoming financially stable, it is projected that Black people will have a net worth of $0 by 2053. Okay. So back in, I think it was 2023, Black households had about $49,000 and white households had about 285,000. So I think that what I want people to take away from this is that this is not a game. Okay? We don't own anything. So when you want to go to the mall, 9 times out of 10 that mall is not Black owned. If you want to go to a hospital, we wonder why people treat us bad in the hospitals. 9 times out of 10 that hospital is not Black owned. Car companies, dealerships, I don't know of a Black owned automotive car builder. So I think that what I want people to, I just think I want a wire to twist in people's brains to say, okay, maybe it's not the white man holding us down. I'm not going to say that has not been the case before. And that is why we are in this position now, because we worked for 400 years with no pay. So let me make that very clear. We are owed a lot of money for building this country. However, this is the cards that we were dealt. Unfortunately, we got to learn how to play them. So the ownership game is a whole different type of game that I feel like people don't talk about. Even when it came to that Target situation, which I use this as an example because it went viral. The situation of Target went viral. That was the biggest boycott that we had since the 60s. I didn't see another, I don't know where that money that didn't go to Target went, but I feel like we should have been a bit more intentional. Maybe gauged our sights more like a sniper instead of bankrupting all of the Targets in the United States. We could have did one at a time. Maybe the building would have lost money, and maybe we could have swooped in and built it a Black owned version. You know what I mean? I feel like that's if I want anybody to take away anything, is that I need you to own something. Like I need you to own something. Everybody's not an entrepreneur. If you don't want to build something, buy into something. The place that I'm using to rent out my podcast studio is a Black owned building. So even if it's not my building that I'm putting money into, that money's going back into my community. So I think what I'm trying to preach is unity. We don't come together, but that was systematic. Okay, like our families have been broken. I want to understand how to gauge it back into that family type of dynamic. So if anything, I would say unity, collective ownership, and changing the generational trauma, because we do have generational trauma as opposed to generational wealth, into some form of generational wealth. Okay, that's what I got. I know that was a lot, but it's like our people sometimes don't have these conversations until it's too late. The best ideas are in the grave. And like I say too, a lot of times, a lot of us are born with that dog in us. Like we we loud, we rambunctious, but that dog got beat out of us because somebody told us, "Oh, don't be too loud. Oh, you too much. You too." Da, da, da. And then you got to get that dog beat back in you in order to actually fulfill your purpose. So it's like I think that I want people to be okay with being themselves because God is not going to bless who you pretend to be. Be yourself. Ownership, generational wealth, collective unity, and that's what I got.
Wow. That's great advice. I like how you started when you said this is real. This is not a game. Like this is happening to us, but it doesn't have to be that way. Also, what you talked about, like, we're born with the dog in us, but we go through school, we go to college, we go through all these spaces that aren't necessarily welcoming to us. And then we have to like find ourselves all over again when we started with what we needed to be successful. So you
Exactly.
dropping the gems. Okay. I got some rapid I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. I know you're all about your financial literacy. But
Yeah.
what's your favorite thing to splurge on?
Man, I don't really splurge on much, but I think lately since I've been doing speaking engagements and stuff, I've been in packs on a lot. I really like the I really like the I'll splurge on an outfit to look fly for a picture. But
Okay.
I only wear it once, so it's a write off.
Gotta be fly. Okay. What is your go-to karaoke song?
I Miss You by Webby. That's so ratchet, I know. But I know every word.
Okay, okay. Love it, love it. Okay. In Sync or Backstreet Boys?
In Sync. That was the one with Justin Timberlake, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I had their picture on my wall. Backstreet Boys? Oh, girl, you're taking me back because I wasn't really a band type of gal back in the day, but I do remember having NSYNC on the poster, and I knew for some reason I knew Justin would be the big breakout star.
Okay, you saw it. You saw it then. You had your business mindset on right then. Okay. Who is your dream podcast guest?
Ooh, you know what? I don't know if I have a dream podcast guest, but somebody who I'd really love to interview. What's coming to my mind right now is probably, oof, oh my gosh, it's so many. I'm gonna have to say Michelle Obama for right now. I'm
The
gonna have to say
Queen.
that. Yeah. Over, and I was stuck between Oprah and John Hope Bryant, which is like one of the biggest real estate owners in Atlanta. Um, and I really would love to talk to him. I get so many gems from him, but I'm gonna have to go with the first lady of the. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Obama.
Okay. Okay, we love her.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you know the Lord.
Yes.
What is your favorite gospel song of all time?
Oh, it's working. I forget who's is that Marvin Sapp? This yeah, it's
Is
working.
your season for
Yes, that
grace?
one. That
William
one.
Murphy. Okay, I
William
love that
Murphy.
one.
Okay. Okay, yes, that one.
Okay, before we get out of here, can you tell our listeners where they can keep up with you and all the wonderful things you're doing?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I actually have a live podcast coming up on June 11th. Everybody's invited. It's free to the public. We have a really good relationship with Ironclad Sports Bar, which is a Black owned sports bar. And they just redid their patio and it is so cool. It looks so nice. So we want you guys to come out and listen to the live podcast. It is going to be about real estate and taxes because the two things you got to do is die and pay taxes. I mean, everything else you can change. You might be able to run away from the police or something like that. I don't know. I can't tell you. No face, no case. But two things you got to do is die and pay taxes. And you understand, like, I'm not a person that's going to talk to you in a monotone voice. This is what is it. We're gonna have a good time. So definitely would like for you guys to come out. I believe we're doing it at 5:30 at Ironclad June 11th, Ironclad Sports Bar. I think that's on McDonough Street. You can follow me on Instagram at More Than Money Podcast, MOORE Than Money Podcast. And you can, if you want to connect with me outside of that, I have a website, conversationsunearthed.com. If you want to collab with my podcast, if you like to sponsor, if you like some podcast editing, I can do all of that for you. And what else do I have coming up? Well Fest. I'm on the Well Collective is one of their committees, and I work very closely with the Well Fest. So that's coming up September 5th through 7th. I might be messing up the dates, but it's September. One of the first weekends in September is the Well Fest. So that's what I got coming up. Please connect with me. I would love to talk to you. I think I have like a free financial literacy check-in, 20 minutes. If you guys would like to do that, we can talk about anything financial. Give me like a financial therapy session, whatever you need. So yeah. Oh, and you said I was licensed. So I am licensed to sell insurance, but I do not sell insurance right now because I'm focusing mainly on my media company. And the only reason why I got that license is because I wanted to infiltrate the system. So
Thank you, Breonna. You have been a great guest. Today, you dropped us some gems. We're going to get it together. We're going to get our financials together. We're going to own something. We're going to do it today because there's no time like the present. Thank you for being a great guest.
absolutely. Thank you for having me, and congratulations in advance to you on all of the amazing things that you have coming up. And yeah, I'm just happy to know you, happy to be in your network and in your community, and excited to see what you got coming up next.
Oh, stop it. The feeling's mutual.